listen to this man. He got some good news for you. Hey, everybody, gather near. The doctor's in the house, so lend him your ear. The things he can say might even make your day. He might even help your pain go away. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. I'm sure he can tell you just what to do. The doctor is in the house.
Oh, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the doctor is in the house. Good day, everyone. This is Dr. Ron, host of Dr. Ron, unfiltered, uncensored. Very grateful, with an attitude of gratitude, that we have been given a Doctor Podcast Award, rated in the top 50, and in fact, number 4. And that's all because of our great listeners. And what can I say? I do apologize for last week's technical problem with the audio. Hopefully that's all fixed now. We did a test earlier today and everything seemed fine. So let's get on with it. I want to talk today about medical misdiagnoses. You just have no idea that close to 800,000 Americans become permanently disabled or die annually across care settings because of dangerous diseases that are misdiagnosed. It's a statistic that if we lost this many soldiers in a war, you'd be hearing about this a lot more. But I do want to quickly revisit the podcast that was audio impaired on longevity. I talked and explored during that podcast the foundations of living longer and stronger, and explored the fact that it is not the supplements or the scans. It's about spirit, lifestyle, simplicity. We talked about faith. We talked about humility. We talked about church community, conscious eating. These add years to your life. We talked about joyful movement, attitude of deep gratitude, and low stress are more powerful than any prescription medication. And we also talked about how longevity isn't something we chase with needles and labs. It's something we cultivate with awareness, love, and presence. So our health system may rush, overtreat, or miss your truth, but you are the CEO of your body. So just a few points on what we talked about. You are the steward of your body. You're not the owner. True longevity begins with humility. Fast living and ego-driven habits, they will aid you. Stillness, humility, and listening, they will preserve you. People involved in faith-based communities, they live longer. They recover faster. And there's data to back that up. And why? Because they serve something greater. They are not alone. They live with a purpose. They live with connection. So when you pray, sing, and serve with others, your biology shifts. Heart rhythm synchronize. Oxytocin floods your body and stress hormones drop. You just don't feel better. You are better. Eating is more than just an act. It's a spiritual act. Food is not fuel. It's transformative. The tomato you eat becomes your blood. The olive oil becomes your hormones. The wild salmon becomes your brain tissue. So when you bless your food and eat slowly, and when you honor its origin, you shift digestion, improve absorption, and bring spirit into every cell. So please eat with reverence. Know that your food is changing your chemical makeup and your destiny. And longevity, ladies and gentlemen, thrives in simplicity, in sunrises, long walks, barefoot grounding, my favorite, and time spent being, rather than doing. So sit in nature. You'll feel the body remember something ancient. You are not separate. You are not a machine. You are a divine expression of life. So what clogs your arteries more than cholesterol? I'll tell you what. Resentment, regret, and bitterness. And what's anti-aging? Forgiveness. What will help you regenerate? Gratitude. So forgiveness is anti-aging. Gratitude is regenerative. And a joyful heart is better than any drug from a pharmaceutical company. So long-living people do not chase youth. They live with purpose. They mentor. They serve. They laugh. And they love deeply. They are not just die. They are not just living to die. They are fully alive. So yes, we have to eat, exercise, sleep deeply, but don't forget to kneel, serve, forgive, and sing, because to age slowly you must live wholly. WHOLEY. Not just with strong muscles, but with a humble heart, a generous spirit, and a life aligned with love. I talked a lot more, but that was the gist of the podcast. You know, we have to feed our mitochondria. We have to challenge our muscles. But we have to have a joyful, humble faithfulness about eating wisely, walking in spiritual light, and not just living longer, but living better. So we may come back to this topic if you so require, and let me know at docronradio@gmail.com, docronradio@gmail.com, because I'd like to talk more about sun exposure, blue light, eliminating that or limiting it, and the non-negotiable factor in being healthy is sleep. I'd like to talk more about that, but we will get into that for another podcast. Today, we're going to talk about misdiagnosis. And I have so many notes, you may find me stuttering here. Here are the statistics. According to recent studies, misdiagnosis rates in outpatient settings hover around 12 million Americans annually, with nearly half of these errors potentially harmful. What conditions? Strokes, mistaken for migraines or vertigo, heart attacks, missed in women and diabetics, cancers, initially misread as benign. This leads to delayed treatment, unnecessary procedures, and of course, the anxiety and financial ruin of some families. There are some blind spots in our system. Overworked physicians, rushed emergency rooms, reliance on AI without oversight, and poor patient history documentation, and not taking the time to talk to a patient. A man comes in to an emergency room with abdominal pain. He is discharged with indigestion, only to be diagnosed with metastatic colon 9 months later. That's why we are wellness warriors. We ask questions, we get second opinions, and we do not assume the doctor is always right. And a little later, I want to talk about CT scans. It's so easy for a doctor to say, well, let's get a CAT scan. I want to talk to you about the radiation damage that they cause. So, two terrifying but under-discussed truths. Medical misdiagnosis, which some people call the silent epidemic that's harming millions. And number two, the future cancer risk tied to chest and abdominal CAT scans. A radiation overload, we're not talking enough about. So again, buckle up, put that duct tape on, get rid of that cognitive dissonance. What's cognitive dissonance? Cognitive dissonance is the discomfort people feel when confronted with evidence that contradicts their established beliefs. Instead of adapting to the new information, they often cling to their old views to avoid the mental effort of changing, which can have dangerous consequences in medicine. So open up your minds. So let's start again. 1 in every 20 adult patients is misdiagnosed annually. 12 million people. Would you say that's a public health crisis? What gets missed? Remember I told you, strokes, heart attacks, and cancers. Are these diagnoses missed, or were they rushed, or is it business as usual? Why does this happen? Well, there's no doubt that doctors are overloaded with less than 10 minutes per patient. That's all they're allowed. Algorithms that AI are replacing human thinking. Specialists are so focused on their own organ system, they forget the whole person. Remember, it would be better if we were treated like from an engineering perspective and thought of as a whole system, not as just a sum of these parts. And we're more than a lung, more than a kidney. We are the sum of all of them. Well, you know where I've come from because I've talked about medicine as the third leading cause of death. We have a broken system. So what do? I've always asked you to be warriors, to learn to speak up, to ask questions. Trust your gut. Trust that spirit inside of you. Otherwise, you could become another statistics. Let's just talk a little bit about these CT scans, the cancer you don't see coming. It's radiation, ladies and gentlemen. Most people think of radiation exposure in terms of a nuclear accident, but the real radiation danger is much closer at your local hospital CT scanner. Here's what you don't read about. A chest CAT scan can give you the same radiation as 200 to 300 chest x-rays. You heard me. One chest CAT scan is equal to 200 to 300 chest x-rays. A CAT scan of your abdomen, try 500 times worth of radiation. In one scan, 500 times. The National Cancer Institute estimates that up to 2% of all future cancers in the United States may come from CAT scans. Are you hearing this on the news channels? Are you reading this in the papers? I don't think so. That means tens of thousands of people each year could develop cancer, not from smoking, not from their lifestyle, but from the very scan that was supposed to save them. And yet, these scans are being ordered more than ever. Oh, you have a back pain? Let's get a CAT scan. Got some mild belly discomfort? Let's have a CAT scan. And I may have a gentleman on this program, if he allows me to interview him, who has a CAT scan of his abdomen, one with contrast, and a endoscopy and a colonoscopy. He's glowing when no one took time to talk to him, to find out he was gluten intolerant, that he had lactose intolerance. So, you're in a car accident, you don't have any symptoms, well, let's get a CAT scan to be sure. But are they necessary? Too often, ladies and gentlemen, it's defensive medicine, just in case, because I want to cover any liability. But that just in case may come with a deadly price. Where have you heard this before? So how can you protect yourself? Before any scan, here's 5 questions. Write these down. Will this change the way you treat me, doctor? Ask that. 2, are there any non-radiation alternatives, like an ultrasound or an MRI? Number 3, is this scan absolutely necessary right now? Number 4, what is the radiation dose compared to a regular x-ray? And number 5, very important, and if he doesn't like you asking these questions, you have the wrong doctor. Number 5, can I delay this until I get a second opinion? Those questions should be asked before any CAT scan. And remember, children and young adults are at the greatest risk. Their developing bodies, longer time for the radiation damage to manifest. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have a right to informed consent. You have a right to not be radiated unless it's critical. And you have a right to say no, thank you. Even Mercola wrote an article about CAT scans being a hidden cancer risk. In his article, he says CAT scans are projected to cause 103,000 future cancer cases from just 1 year's worth of imaging because of the ionizing radiation that damages DNA. He talked about children's vulnerability. And he, as I say, you can protect yourself by asking if the CAT scans will change any treatments and requesting alternative. And you should be documenting radiation exposure when a CAT scan is necessary. So every CAT scan will add to your lifetime cancer risk. That's the message. So abdominal and chest CAT scans are incredibly risky. And what cancer is most common from these CAT scans? Well, not to scare you, but lung cancer. Of the projected radiation-induced cases, lung cancer topped the list. 22,400 new cases from these scans. So protect yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Ask your 5 questions. Document your radiation doses. And refuse unnecessary multi-phase scans. They are CAT scans that involve multiple images of the same area during different phases, which dramatically increases your radiation exposure. My personal philosophy is avoid a CAT scan unless it's an emergency or there are no safer alternatives. And it's not just me. I mean, this has been reported in the Veteran Affairs Research, Kaiser Permanente, the British Medical Journal. I mean, it really sounds like war casualties. You may see an article here and there, but no one's really talking about it. No one's talking to you to tell you to be careful. So I don't want to be negative, but here's where we are. If you know the facts, you can act accordingly. And you can be a wellness warrior and take the decisions into your own hands. Remember the 5 questions to ask before any scan. Will this change the way you treat me? Are there non-radiation alternatives? Is this scan absolutely necessary right now? What is the radiation dose compared to an X-ray? And jot that down because it's cumulative. And number 5, can I delay this until I get a second opinion? So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to live smarter, live safer, live longer. Don't let medical missteps or unnecessary scans define your future. And I have a favor. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who needs to hear the truth. And next time you're told it's probably nothing, ask, are you sure? So until next time, stay aware, stay informed, stay uncensored, and come back to Dr. Ron, unfiltered, uncensored, here on Podbean, but offered on almost any platform that carries podcasts, in addition to BitChute and Rumble. So again, I thank you. I see Linda entered the studio. Sorry about that. I just saw you, Linda. Thank you for listening. This was a last-minute podcast after I was reading all those statistics. I just wanted to get the truth out there, and that's what I have been doing for 5 or 6 years now. This is episode number 619. And again, with an attitude of gratitude, I want to thank all of my listeners who have really made this podcast quite popular. So stay well, live life joyfully, meditate, pray, avoid over medication, and be of service. So until next time, we'll see you.
Hey everybody, Dr. Ron's finished for today. I hope you got some good wisdom for what the man had to say. If it's all about good health, he's the man you got to see. He has a lot more answers for you. So tune in next week when the doctor is in the house. Or when the doctor is in the house. And let the doctor know what's bothering you. When the doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. I'm sure he can tell you just what to do. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. When the doctor is in the house. So if you have a pain, call the doctor. If you have a strain, call the doctor. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. When the doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. See you next week. See you next week.